Earlier this week, I made a video going over some of the launch window games coming to Series X and S. These games all had release dates, and there were some notable omissions for games that we've seen already announced for the consoles, but we haven't heard much from yet. So if you haven't watched the first video, check it out. I've put the link below in the description. But today we're going to be going over some games that are apparently coming out within the launch window, some before the end of the year, but just don't have a release date as of yet. So sit back and enjoy part 2 of the launch window games for next gen. Thanks for stopping by and checking out this video. Welcome to Direckt Gaming if you haven't been here before. If you like what I do on the channel, I'd love for you to like the video and subscribe. Turn on notifications as well if you haven't already, because I've got a lot more content coming out before the launch of the next gen consoles. Let's talk about some exciting games that potentially are launch window titles for the next gen Xbox. Earlier this year, Spanish developer Out of the Blue Games announced their first-person adventure and puzzle game, Call of the Sea. Set in the 1930s, you play as the protagonist Nora, who is investigating the disappearance of her husband's expedition on a strange but beautiful island in the South Pacific. The game is hugely inspired by Lovecraft, but it's actually not a horror game, as most Lovecraft games are, and the developers say while most Lovecraft stories are a descent into madness, Call of the Sea is a rise to sanity. The game director Tatiana Delgado says, "Most of the protagonists of Lovecraftian novels are passive subjects and not active ones. The plot is explained to them by letter, or it happens to a friend of theirs, or they are involved in a tangential way. Precisely because this is cosmicism or cosmic horror, the absolute defenselessness of the human being in the face of a horror that surpasses him. That's why many Lovecraftian games focus on horror. But Call of the Sea is not a horror game. We wanted to keep the essence of the classic H.P. Lovecraft stories while at the same time giving it a different approach. Not a pulp one like Call of Cthulhu, but not a cosmic horror either. So instead of having a passive subject that is drawn into madness by circumstances that he or she cannot control, our purpose is to tell a story of a resolute woman involved in a mystery and a journey of discovery and acceptance. Not only the acceptance of other realities outside our own, but also focusing on how the discovery of events at a greater scale can lead us to the acceptance of who we really are." This game looks absolutely stunning and it has a really gorgeous stylized art direction, from its sandy beaches and beautiful water to underwater caverns, and some really great design, and it looks like some beautiful lighting. Call of the Sea looks really captivating both visually and through its storytelling. It was announced at the Xbox Showcase back in May, but we've yet to hear much since, and they've taken the release date section away from the Xbox website, unfortunately, so it probably won't release in 2020. When it does, it will be coming to both Xbox consoles and PC exclusively, and it will support smart delivery and 4K 60 frames per second gameplay when it's optimized for Series X. Set in an alternate version of history where the Soviet Union managed to technologically excel past all other nations to create robots, holograms, the internet, and more in a retro-futuristic mid-20th century world, Atomic Heart appears to be taking huge inspiration from games like BioShock and the Metro series. It's a first-person adventure game being developed by Russian studio Mundfish and will feature a soundtrack from the incredibly talented Mick Gordon, who gave us the absolutely banging soundtracks for Doom and Doom Eternal. Gameplay that we've seen so far shows deadly plants with poisonous spores, enemy robots, and even cosmic horrors, and wild weaponry like a melee weapon that can even be charged up to kind of shoot its blades. It all looks absolutely insane. It's got a really slick UI and features gorgeous reflective surfaces. Assumedly, because it's being kind of optimized for next-gen platforms, it's going to have ray tracing, but it will also be released on current-gen systems as well. The developers, though, are really pushing their technology to give a real next-gen experience and are boasting no loading screens and obviously a gorgeous graphical style. So keep an eye out for more information about this exciting new IP and hopefully a release date soon. Crossfire X is a game that Xbox have been pushing big time, as they're trying to make moves in the Asian market. Crossfire currently is a huge free-to-play multiplayer FPS. It's kind of like CSGO, and apparently it's had over 650 million players. Crossfire X will be coming to the West for the first time on Xbox consoles. and will feature a single-player campaign being developed by Remedy of all people. The story will show two sides of the conflict between the game's two factions, Global Risk and Blacklist. And other than that, we don't really know too much about the story, although there was a trailer from Microsoft's July event that shows some really gorgeous gameplay. The multiplayer component will be free to play, but the single-player portion of the game will not be included in Game Pass and will require a separate purchase. Xbox's website still shows the game with a 2020 release date, so fans of multiplayer shooters, but also of Remedy's storytelling prowess, should keep an eye out for this one. It'll be releasing on both Xbox One and Xbox Series consoles and will support smart delivery too. These two games are both coming from Bloober Team and are set to release around the launch of the Xbox. The Medium is a next-gen only title that will take advantage of the power of the series consoles and deliver two worlds rendered at the same time. I've covered this game already a bit, but it does take inspiration from classic horror games like Silent Hill and Resident Evil, and it looks to be an interesting psychological horror game. Although being announced as a launch title and getting a big marketing push from Xbox, we still don't know its release date yet, but it is looking like potentially December. Troy Baker will be playing the main villain, the Maw, which is some horrifying creature that seems to be pursuing the main character within the spirit world. Bloober's other game, Observer System Redux, is a remaster that will be releasing on launch day of the consoles, and is a fully upgraded for next-gen version of Bloober's 2017 horror title. It'll be coming exclusively to next-gen systems, including the PS5, and although it's multi-platform, with their close relationship recently, including having Observer, Blair Witch, and now the Medium all coming to Game Pass, Bloober is one of those much talked about candidates for acquisition from Xbox Game Studios. Another game that I've covered a bit here on the channel already, Outriders is the newest title from People Can Fly, the creators of Gears Judgment and Bulletstorm, and will be published by Square Enix. The third-person sci-fi shooter set on the planet Enoch, where colonization has begun in a far-flung solar system. At the start of the game, it sounds like the player will be frozen in suspended animation for 30 years, and when awoken, has developed impressive powers. The game will be class-based, featuring the Pyromancer, Technomancer, Trickster, and Devastator classes, all who feature skill sets completely different to each other and will be most effective at different ranges in combat. The game features 3-player co-op, but has been pushed as not a live service and will not feature any microtransactions. The devs are really pushing this as a story game, somewhat similar to how Borderlands works, and I'm actually really excited about this one. It's got a diverse range of playable classes and skill sets and landscapes, and what seems to be a quite interesting story. It's the kind of game we haven't seen enough of this generation and gives me vibes of Mass Effect and Gears of War mixed together. People Can Fly have done a great job marketing and have shown lots of gameplay and details about classes and stories. So if you want more information, jump onto their YouTube channel where they've got the Outriders broadcast that we've seen a few episodes of, and they really go deep into a lot of details about the game. This has got me really hyped for its release around holiday 2020. Scorn is another horror game shown off originally at Xbox's May presentation, which will be exclusive to Series X and S and PC, and the game is hugely inspired by the works of H.R. Geiger. It features absolutely disgusting body horror and is definitely not for me. In Scorn, you are isolated and lost inside this dreamlike world. You will explore different interconnected regions in a non-linear fashion. Every location contains its own theme, puzzles, and characters that are integral in creating a cohesive world. There is some gameplay out there from a few years ago when Scorn, I think, was originally announced as PC only, but apparently it'll be getting a huge upgrade for its next-gen release. Horror fans look like they've got quite a bit to look forward to with this title from developer Ebb Software. The Ascent is an isometric ARPG with 4-player combat set in a cyberpunk world. It was originally shown off again at Xbox's May presentation, and this one really interested me. It's got super detailed environments and really fun looking gameplay, and the story focuses on the mega corporation, the Ascent Group, unknowingly shutting down and causing automated security to go haywire. The ensuing chaos leads crime syndicates to vie for control, with rival corporations attempting to capitalize off the breakdown of society. It's your job as the player to find out what happened to the Ascent group and stop these other groups from taking control of the city. It seems to be still coming in 2020, but we haven't heard really anything since its announcement, although I am intrigued and excited to see this game release. It will be exclusive to Xbox consoles and PC and will support smart delivery. Alright, so there are some other games that are kind of maybes on this list that I won't go into in detail. Second Extinction was another game announced at Xbox's conference, but it has no release date. It is, however, now apparently coming to early access on Steam on October the 13th. So I highly doubt if it's only coming to early access in October that it will be hitting a 2020 release date at all on consoles. It may come to the Xbox preview program or something like that, but we shall see. It's a game about killing dinosaurs with your friends, which sounds like a lot of fun. The Star Wars LEGO Skywalker Saga game has a 2021 release date now, but nothing concrete. It was announced over a year ago at E3, but then we really heard nothing. But we've got some gameplay now, and it seems to be a pretty fun title, but we're yet to hear really anything concrete about this next Star Wars LEGO game. Psychonauts 2 also may make this 3-month release window, or perhaps even spring 2021, but again, it was delayed and then we don't know anything about when it's releasing. It does look pretty cool though, and it could be a really great 3D platformer, and there are, I know, a huge amount of fans out there for Psychonauts and Double Fine in general. So that one's coming from Xbox Game Studios, but will also be on all other platforms. But that studio has a pretty great history, and people are going to be excited for that one for sure. Chivalry 2 will be releasing on Xbox consoles as well with crossplay, but it has been delayed until 2021. So we're not sure if that's going to make that kind of 3-month launch window either. With so much kind of instability due to COVID-19, it's hard to say when and if these games will make their release windows in 2020. It's still exciting to talk about the games that are coming to next-gen consoles, and appears to be a lot of games still up in the air to hit that launch window, including some really new interesting IP and Xbox console exclusives. One of the games I'm most excited about is definitely Call of the Sea. I think this looks absolutely stunning. I really like walking simulators, and I don't know if it is entirely a walking simulator with some puzzle aspects and stuff, but it looks gorgeous and it seems to have a really cool vibe. So I'm keen for that one. But let me know what you're most excited about in the comments below. Are you excited to explore a retro futuristic Soviet Union in Atomic Heart? I know I'm pretty keen for that one as well. And let me know if there's anything I've missed as well. Get down in the comments. I appreciate all your support. If you're finding this channel for the first time through this video, I would love for you to subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends, and let's get hyped for next generation. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it in a massive way. It really means a lot to me. And, thanks for checking out Direckt Gaming. Until next time, peace.